The forces of Isengard have come to disrupt the reinforcements on their way to Minas Tirith to lift the siege and save the Gondorians. However, and the alliance does still stand, and the forces of good are preparing themselves to repel this attack and make their way forward to lift the siege on the White City and save the day. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to this absolutely glorious online battle, playing some more of the Dawnless Days mod on version 8.5, I think we are now. So we are closing in on that 1.0 release of the campaign, which is going to be very, very exciting. And one of the things that they're really focusing in on now is getting a ton of the maps done. And of course, you can see this map right here looks absolutely beautiful, with King Theoden, I'm sure, over here saying it's only half as many as he wanted. And yeah, the map just looks great, and this is going to be a really, really good scene for a battle. If we take a look at the battle sizes right now on the forces, we do have the elves and the Gondorians set up here. Even got some of the Gondorian trebuchets back there, hopefully unleashing hell and raining fire down on the enemies. They're also supported in here as well by the forces from the Easterlings, so a little bit of a mismatch. I always prefer battles where it's good versus evil, but I don't mind every so often to go and dive into a battle like this. Going up against them, as we do get a beautiful charge here, we do have the Nordran elves as well, ripping through some of these Uruk infantry. Yeah, they are taking the pain train to the enemy right there. However, these LOTR are going to go flying into them, and if the elves can't get out of there in time, then that is going to be dangerous. It's an expensive unit to lose. But on the attacking side, we do have the forces of the Mordorians, we have the forces from the Uruk-hai, and then finally we have some of the evil men over here. It seems that that cavalry charge was absolutely brutal by the Easterlings and also by the elves. It's going to be the main focus, is just trying to harass this force as much as possible. Unfortunately, the Uruk-hai was unable to capture the majority of the enemy forces, still able to get down here and do some good damage. It's always so impressive with what we've done with the Uruk-hai. They really have done such a good job with them, as with the custom animations. I'm sure they're only going to get better. Now the elves are going to pull back. I mean, 100 kills on both of these units right away is very impressive. That's going to be something that's going to be very, very deadly. And there's something they really do need as they continue to harass on this side. There are obviously hounds, though, charging down. And this is a really good anti-cavalry force. These hounds can absolutely just decimate the horses. They get some really good bonus attacks on the horses. I'm not sure actually how much damage it is, but this unit is basically designed to go and hunt down cavalry. They can keep up with them. They pin down the cavalry, and then they can just kind of pit away at their heels and basically destroy them. So it's a really effective unit. However, it seems like this cavalry is just decimating this force from the right flank. It actually seems like, I don't know how they've been able to get in here, and there doesn't really seem like there's any support coming. I don't really feel like there's any cavalry across the board. And yeah, this is just a pure cavalry charge. I mean, again, White Hand Stormers here should be able to repel that charge. Yeah, that's what you need. You need heavy infantry, and you need a counter charge. This is a perfect way to deal with this. These Knights of the Swan are going to take a handful of casualties as they pull up. Some spears moving up as well to obviously try and help out a bit. But this cavalry is taking its pound of flesh, and it's not even funny. These soldiers on the right flank are getting decimated. The rest of their forces are now being brought over, but cavalry are going to be struggling so much, especially against these cataphracts. These are elite Easterling horses, and just able to do so much damage on the front line, as you guys can see. And you know, majority of the forces are just falling back to the river right now. We do have artillery coming in as well, trying to focus down the pikemen, and the cavalry is just kind of hammer and ambling right now. Another charge here, able to get in, not really being able to do much damage though. Again, picking off a couple of these White Hand Stormers. Unfortunately, just not able to push down, and again, immediately the berserkers come in. This is really nice play. If the cavalry are going to continue just to charge, then the berserkers are going to be able to go in and get that armor piercing smash right into the armor and able to pursue them. And realistically, however, the follow through is not good, and the cavalry immediately jump their way in on the berserkers, who are going to be taking a lot of damage. The majority of damage when it comes to these battles are mainly down to the trample. When the cavalry hit, so you can see a guy getting hit off his horse and then finished off. That was a cool little attack right there. But the majority of the damage as berserkers run for their lives is when the cavalry knock down infantry and then they trample them. Get another kill right there. Down. So being able to kind of withstand that charge and then preventing the enemy from doing that is always really good. A nice little move up here as well, bringing up the archers. However, these are just Orc, Mordor, rabble. I mean, at the end of the day, it is still 300 arrows flying in. But as you can see, these archers are going to be doing barely any damage. I say that actually, though. That's not bad. Like, they are doing some decent damage, and they've been able to pick down these Nordor riders. Again, these are elves. These are elves who have lived for hundreds of years, and they're currently dying to a trashy Mordor rabble archer who is not really worth. I say that I haven't seen a single horse go down, but they are whittling these guys down and trading this 300 unit, this 300 gold unit for a horse unit like this is always going to be a fair exchange. It seems like the initial kind of phase of the battle is now running a little bit lower. The archers are doing their thing. The cavalry have definitely been depleted. Seems like the horses have shifted over to this right flank. Gonna get a really nice charge here on the spears who aren't braced. However, again, them White Hand Stormer spears are able to actually withstand that fairly effectively. And as the cavalry now decide to pull out the battlefield, this is when they're going to be getting hit pretty hard. I will also just as well give praise. Oh, that artillery, the trebuchet coming in. That was big. Oh, that was big. I will also give praise as well to the devs. The lighting in this map is beautiful. I just wish that every single battle map was like this lighting wise, because artillery lighting is renowned for being awful. And you generally have to look from a certain side. Like you can see dark, bright, but even this way is still bright enough than normal. So the arrow fire comes in again. Just trying to pick off a few of these Mordor. Again, this is perfect. This is where I'd want my enemy arrows to go in, because these orcs are awful. Or as you can see as well, recently they updated a lot of the orc models as well, and they look so good. So many more different models. Really impressive stuff right there as they continue to push up. More arrow fire coming in again, though, picking off a handful. But just keeping these Olog safe, keeping the elite infantry safer. The artillery coming in. Isengard pushing up a little bit closer. And on the right-hand side, we've reformed now. We set ourselves up. I mean, it seems like an absolute mess on this right flank. Oh my god, the cavalry is still causing issues back here. Luckily, finally, we have the Witch King who have reinforced. And yeah, these, oh no. I mean, that's such a waste, man. That's a real shame. These grenadiers need to get that ammunition off. That was obviously what these Eastling horses were hunting for, as we get another beautiful cavalry charge coming in right here. Yeah, we really needed this cavalry up here a long time ago, if I'm being completely honest, to help deal with this cavalry assault. The attackers lost a lot of soldiers. But luckily, the White Hand Stormers still have a lot of their ammunition left on them grenadiers, so nothing too crazy. And now this force on the right-hand side, which has really been decimated, can start to reform. It can start to get its soldiers back now. The majority of the enemy cavalry has now been dealt with. Oh, it seems like they have actually been able to exchange. Yeah, this is a smart move right here to bring the archers this close. However, the Noldrim Rangers who just charge these guys, I think they may be focused elsewhere in the battle. Because realistically, this cavalry should just charge these Mordor orc rabble and they will break immediately. But I guess they're also maybe a bit scared of what's lurking in the woods. And they're happy to do this. But getting close with these archers is good. And now they're going to pull out. Now the ammunition is done. They've got 250 kills a pop. So they definitely paid for themselves already. And as I said, almost still more cavalry. But the crossbows are now set up on elevation so they can start to warm this off. And again, all of this should have been in place. But that's why the Saliao is so useful in combat. You know, this is why these cavalry assaults early on work, because generally the players are just not expecting them to invest that much money. That was expensive cavalry that the defenders bought. And, you know, when they're actually pushing the settlement, they're not going to be able to utilize that very effectively. So it's going to come down to whether or not that has paid for itself, as another volley right there goes through the Stormont shield wall. Okay, it is time. The forces of good prepare themselves. The Isengard infantry have arrived now, and this is going to be really nice of them. Again, they've taken a pounding to begin this battle. There's now arrow fire coming in. But these are the units that you want to fight, and again, there's lots of very good choke points. Oh, there's also a little position right up here as well. Kind of cool to get some archers up here. A lot of the cavalry are making their way up here, but it doesn't really... Oh, no, they can. Okay, there is a position here. So there's a little cavalry ambush. All of this cavalry is currently hidden. It's still hidden. Okay, now it's coming to view. These infantry retainers, please form up a shield wall. Okay, luckily they were able to brace, which isn't going to be so bad. However, they did get hit pretty hard. Again, I feel really bad for this player playing the evil men on this flank, because they've really just been focused down by the cavalry and absolutely hammered. I also like what they're doing as well, is they are kind of ignoring this right flank. I think they need a focus for a point. They've taken a lot of damage already. The artillery is now bombarding and getting some really nice hits here on the Gondorian tier 3 archers. However, the archers are now volleying in. But again, keep in mind, they're going to be kind of pinning off a lot of these shield walls, and focusing on the crossbows is, of course, their main goal. The crossbows are now firing in as well, and we'll have a bit of better luck here trying to take down the Pelargir Marines. The Pelargir Marines have really good javelin fire, so they do want to try and kill as many of these guys before they get into combat, which is good. And we even have the troll catapults back here as well, being pushed up. And this force on the left-hand side are also being brought closer and closer to then take onto the elves who are on the left flank. Seems like the cavalry is getting caught on the right flank. This is really big. Again, they need to take care of this cavalry. I feel like it's a vendetta at this point to bring these guys down. If they are kept alive, then it will just be a scorn in the heart of the Rune Iron player. And they're able to do it pretty nicely. The rest of the cavalry does fall back, and they kind of need to reset. I will say this, and there's no position here by the Isengard player. I feel like the attacking players are playing very individually right now. Like, that Mordor cavalry could have come over here and saved the day several times, and instead they're kind of lacking back. Now that's one of the things you see in an attacking force is this cavalry is on the left flank, but this could be huge on the right flank. These players are playing very individual right now, and I think that cat is going to come back to bite them, as the amount of damage that cavalry did, and this horse could have come in and saved the day. And that's actually probably one of the reasons why the Noldor cavalry kind of stuck around here, is because they were scared of this horse. So I guess it's not the end of the world. And they are here to obviously prevent the Noldor Rangers from coming in, but I feel like that cavalry could be really useful elsewhere at kind of dealing with the positions. Charging this down as well would be a great idea. Besides the javelins, if they could get some of their cavalry in here, they'd be able to break this very, very quickly. Seemed like as well the forces in this side village do realize that it is completely like not the plan of attack, and they're going to be deciding to bring back their army in, which is really smart of them, bringing these guys back across the river. And it's going to be up to the attackers to kind of realize this and be like, oh yeah, maybe we should actually put some pressure on this flank, because there's no reason to leave soldiers here if they're not going to defend it. There's also some cavalry back here again, hammering away at some of these soldiers who I guess have come back from routing and have just been kind of forgotten about, which is always a shame to see. You know, these units can be very useful. However, I do understand it can sometimes be hard. But yeah, again, right now this cavalry should be coming over to stop this, because it seems like a lot of these units, if they get rear charged, like these are expensive units, and if they get rear charged by cavalry, they're going to rack up hundreds of kills with no real answer. And I think that's going to be the story of this battle, is just the pure dominance of the Saliao in today's battle. More cavalry coming out, they're going to go immediately into these berserkers. It is now fully commencing with where basically this right-hand side faction has left a few of their Reavers pushing in against Fountain Guard, supported by some more Gondorian sword infantry. Is not going to go really in their favor, but as long as they keep them busy, that's all that matters. And they have a lot of shock infantry as well. A lot of shock infantry still left remaining after the initial engagements, which is pretty good. I think it's going to really be up to whether or not the forces of Mordor can break the last remnants of the elves. If they can do that, then that opens up a complete flank for them to push forward, which I think will be really exciting to see. We are also seeing some aggression being thrown out here by the defenders, bringing out some of their infantry to, of course, try and harass this incoming force, looking to push up their Pelargonian Marines, which I think is a good idea. As I said, the attackers feel really disconjoined, so bringing up these guys to try and get their javelins in again to open up. Again, they're firing into White-Hand Stormers, who are pretty tanky, but a lot of javelins, and javelins are armor piercing, so this is kind of what they're designed to do. Bringing these guys up to fire is always going to be a good idea, and it does seem like, you know, the Servants of the Eye getting a little bit stuck, but more Uruks are now being brought around. I mean, they just kind of need to combine their forces over here. We do have some of the guards of Imladris being surrounded, but they are fighting bow rabble, so I think these guys could probably kill about 20,000 bow rabble and be absolutely fine. Being brought up here is going to be pretty interesting once the Pelargonian Marines get up here as well. Putting down the pressure here is going to be pretty brutal, I think. And I think they can break them, you know. There's a lot of, obviously, infantry and missile fire coming in as well, taking down the dogs and the other missiles, which is good. This lack of pressure is always going to come in and pain them. Does seem like we do have some of these shock infantry now being brought up. I actually don't know how shock infantry does against pikes from the front. Fountain Guard are definitely one of the more disappointing units, I feel like, in the game, unless they've been changed recently. I always feel like Fountain Guard, for their price, just never really seemingly hold long enough or get enough kills. But I think they're doing a pretty good job there. They're able to get around the flank as well. Okay, so we could see this flank breaking. The elves are now fully under pressure now. I'm not really sure what's happening here, if the battle's desynced a little, or if these guys are just like having a friendly reminder. I mean, they are putting them in shield wall, so I guess, I mean, for the Mordor player, I don't want to fight these guys, and they are moving them, so I guess they haven't desynced, just, I guess, avoiding fighting there, which for the Mordor player is great. I wouldn't want to fight there. It does also seem like the Saliao has kind of gone a bit poorly, as a lot of these units are going down, and being able to break them, it's always a good idea. I mean, there's just a lot of soldiers here. Yeah, a lot of soldiers. And there you go, Pelargonian Marines, after throwing their volleys of javelins, able to pretty much displaced almost half his unit of White Hand Stormers and able to fully get themselves stuck in. And the Pelargonian Marines, supported by their Easterling allies, should do pretty decent here. Able to try and just kind of pierce a hole through this line and then, of course, filter through and then envelop. We are seeing more soldiers charge in now, and I think this is a good idea. You want to probably try and disrupt them as much as possible. Because if you can break them, and you can see they're immediately falling back now, this now allows the envelopment to go in pretty effectively. And on one side, the enemy general does go down. Yeah, the Gondorian general does break as Prince Imrahil himself has now been slain. And this opens up a big path. More reinforcements being sent over as quickly as possible. They should be filtering through this hole. Yeah, there's not really much left for the defense. I mean, I feel like the defense have been playing so well, but just under so much pressure from every single flank, and it's just not enough. Again, these Ologhai need to be thrown into battle like ASAP. These guys, I mean, they're in the trees tanking, which is nice. So a lot of these arrows are just being wasted in the trees. You're not going to be able to pick these guys down at all, and you're much better off shooting some better units. But yeah, bringing these Ologhai up would be perfect. Does also seem like as well some more of the Eastlings are now being completely surrounded. Oh, there's an Uruk bodyguard here. Yeah, these guys making quick work of the spears. Reinforcements are arriving, but the Witch King himself smashes into these Javis, able to fully wipe them out, and this unit will be breaking immediately. And all of a sudden, I feel like, things are looking really bad for the defenders. It was looking so good, but the last of the Gondorian archers now being brought up to try and savor this left flank. And I think they'll be able to win this left flank. They have enough here, right? The Gondorians reinforcing the depleted forces of the evil men. But it's everywhere else, which is a little bit of a trouble, as you guys can see. Yeah, there's just a lot here now. The Pelargonian Marines, as I said, are decent, but under enough pressure, they are going to break as more crossbows get brought up. And there's just a lot left, right? If we take a look at the kills as well, there's still a 2-to-1 advantage, and the elves are now falling back. I mean, it's not a bad idea to try and get the hell out of here. The elves still have a surprisingly large amount of their forces, but yeah, falling back maybe to the mountain pass is going to be the only way of victory. With some fierce fighting from the general, they are able to hopefully break down the last of these soldiers, which is good. I mean, if I was this force on this right flank attacking, I'd be sending in everything I can now, because it's up to you to hold this force down, pin it down whilst your allies win. They are now pouring into the settlement. The elves are fleeing for their lives as fast as they can. Elrond trying to reform some semblance of an attack. Look at him flee away from the forces of evil, who can now just simply stroll into this forest and prepare their line to attack. Able obviously to pick off a few units, looking to try and kill a handful of these guards of the Tifo. Able to get them halberds down, but the Noldrian pikemen have that longer pike, which is going to give them the massive advantage. Basically 100% the advantage. These halberds are sitting ducks right now with how Attila works, and they just need to basically just pull through, get into melee range, and then they do decently. But yeah, these guys are just getting hit for free right now. And there you go, boom. Seeing that, bring themselves forward, and now they're going to be in a much better situation and start winning that fight. And really, it's up to the Northern pikemen to pull back, but what can they pull back for? Isengard are now pouring in. Remnants of these hunters are trying to get a couple shots off, charging in on the catapults, making sure that they can no longer fire. And the Gondorians are now fully falling back. I think they won this left flank quite nicely, but having to pull back is pretty important. The trolls! There's trolls in the dungeon! The Ologhai have now formed up here. And even the elves are going to struggle against them. Man, I really hope they can fix that elephant noise. That elephant noise has been in here for so long. I'm hoping in one of the patches they can add in the sounds for the trolls. If they need me to, I'm more than happy to do the sound. Like, listen to my, this is Cave Troll in Moria. I feel like that sounds pretty good, right? If they need me to, all they have to do is ask, and I'll record my Cave Troll lines for them. We get back into the more nitty gritty. You can see the archers coming in as well. I think the attacking forces do have this battle now pretty much synced up. The elves are going to be surrounded momentarily. Gondorians trying to form up, but Isengard are pouring in. And there's just so much back here. You know, we have 2 full units of pikes still left remaining. We have these grenadiers back there with all their ammunition. Generally, that's like a make or break unit. The trolls are actually dying, though. Surprisingly, I guess it's the shock infantry, the double shock infantry, able to start killing them. And also the friendly fire from the Mordor rabble maybe picking up. And to be fair, the trolls did take a lot of damage as well, for the most part. But yeah, there's just, I mean, look at this. There's an entire Mordor front line back there on the right-hand side. They have assembled some form of last stand on this left-hand side. But yeah, the attackers have now just broken in, destroyed the towers, setting up. The elves are forming up. But yeah, being able to bring up 2 full units of heroic pikes. Oh, they got Imbo before the pikes. Okay, they're on, look at their heads roll. Yeah, they're going to do great there. They're going to be slicing and dicing here. Not so lucky, though. Going to be getting pinned down pretty effectively. Lone Olokai, lone infantry. There are like these pockets of resistances, but yeah, the battle is going to be over. I think, honestly, at this point, we can probably just speed things through as we watch the last of them die. A nice little rear charge there, breaking them down. But yeah, I mean, honestly, an amazing defense there. The cavalry did so much, but that's also one of the downsides of the cavalry. Cavalry is generally so expensive, and if you do commit them out early, like, they're going to start going down, and they're going to start losing, and you're going to have less to defend. Like, they obviously did a lot of damage out there in the main front line, but then it did mean that the defenders had less infantry and archers to then cover this position. So it really is an interesting dynamic for sure. That is going to be it, though, for the battle. Again, a little bit of a mixed one. I think there was a little bit of a desync in there. This replay was a little bit old, but hopefully it was still enjoyable. And this brings me on to my next point. I am very much looking for more Rise of Mordor replays. If you have a decent length, like 30-minute battle, you know, make sure to go and send it in, give me your mod list, send it to me over on Discord, or just tag me over on the Rise of Mordor Discord. I am very much looking for interesting 2v2s, 3v3s, etc. So yeah, I want to start featuring more Rise of Mordor on the channel, but there isn't really too many replays anymore. So yeah, I'd really like some, if you guys want to get together on their Discord and play some battles and send them in to me, it'd be amazing, especially on all the new awesome maps as well. There's a lot of maps that people haven't even seen. Like, I didn't know this map was in the game until I loaded this up. So yeah, please send them my way. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.